They said he won't be ready, so Tyson said, we've got another couple of days, which is the 27th of November and the 3rd of December. And as Tyson said yesterday, pick one of those dates. And it's as simple as that. That's where we're at.
Okay. So apart from the date, was there anything in the initial offer that they wanted changed, or were they happy with everything else?
Well, it's not where that. Remember, this is not a mandatory defence. This is Tyson being magnanimous and giving AJ a route back. And as I say, 60-40 is great. And he said that and there would be a rematch clause in there, which there is. And if there is a rematch, you split 50-50, and that's the end of it. They're not negotiable. 6th of November and the 3rd of December. Pick one of the dates.
Okay. Before we talk about those potential dates, I just want to clarify something. So there were reports going around online yesterday that December 17th has been booked by you at the Principality Stadium. It wasn't clear whether it was for this fight, so I don't know whether the intention was to do a potential Derek Chisora fight, and that's why you had it booked. So can you clarify why, firstly, December 17th isn't an option for Fury Joshua, and why you had it booked as well?
Well, the only reason this has come about is because what we were intending to do, and the intention was for the unification fight to take place in December. That was where Tyson's head was, and also was Usyk's, but subsequently Usyk said that he was not available and wouldn't be available till February or March. So the reason Tyson wants to fight, he's the only one fighting here, he wants to fight. And as he said, he feels he's comfortable in beating whoever he's put in front of him, but what he wants to make sure is that there's no problems for the Usyk fight in February or March, and he needs a decent run up to that, especially with Christmas coming. So he don't want to do it late in December. That's why he wanted to do it earlier. That's why the original proposed date was the 12th. But as I said, he's moved on from now, but we're not going to push it back any further. He doesn't want to push it back, and I don't think it can anyway, because of the situation I just mentioned with Usyk, because obviously there's only a small window to get that.
Is there a deadline on this?
Yeah, today.
Today?
Yep.
Wow, okay.
And those are the words of Frank Warren as he puts his foot down, confirms that Team Joshua has until today to agree to the two dates that they specified. And let me counterpunch. First of all, this irks of dominance and downright intolerance. I mean, if you hear Frank, you just hear in his tone, it's like, this is what it is. This is not a negotiation. This is not a mandatory. This is a voluntary. We gave you the shot. You got to pick the two dates. That's it. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. And let me counterpunch. I feel that Frank and Tyson, they're just calling the shots, and they want to show their dominance. They want to show that they're running the show. They want to show that they are offering what it is, and that's all it's going to be. And one thing I can't understand, though, and shout out to the interviewer that asked the $1 million question, is if you had a date on December 17th already set aside for Derek Chisora or Usyk, and it was supposed to be exclusively for Usyk, which is cool. Well, why couldn't you make the Joshua fight then if you know Usyk is already out? And the better question to ask, why are you hell-bent on certain dates if you know that the window of time is flexible for next year for Usyk? Counterpunch. If you notice where I put the exclamation marks, where he said, well, the fight with Usyk has to be done February or March. And I'm thinking, okay, February or March, that is a big window of time. So why would you be worried about Usyk and knowing Usyk is flexible? Because it's not like Team Usyk told you, well, we have to do it by February 14th of 2023. it has to be on this date because we got other shit to do. They didn't tell you that. In fact, you haven't even negotiated with that moving forward. So the thing what to do was if you really wanted to fight Joshua, okay, you would make sure that Usyk is available for whatever date, flexible for the next year. That only makes sense. You can't just say, you know what, we're going to set this aside for a fighter that may or may not even be ready. But if he is ready, we have to make sure we keep it open for him when he's telling you, hey, I need time to train. That makes no sense to me. Okay? And you can't say February or March if it's an exact date. Because they're pretending like, okay, well, this date has to be done, or this fight, this unification fight for Undisputed has to be done on this particular date. He's not saying that at all. He's saying that, you know what, we want to keep our options clear for Usyk just in case he's ready at that time. And it just baffles me on how retarded that sounds. You know, you have a date and you're telling someone, hey, you have to pick these two dates for a fight that may or may not happen at a particular date next year. It's just ludicrous. And again, it just reeks of dominance, pride, okay, and arrogance. That's all it does. And really, to add more to it, uncertainty. And what do I mean by uncertainty? Well, think about it. They are the ones that initiated this offer. They are the ones that initiated a rematch clause. See, you wouldn't put a rematch clause on in there if you were so sure that Tyson Fury is going to walk right through Anthony Joshua. Counterpunch. You wouldn't put that emphasis in there unless you weren't sure. See, Dillian White didn't have a fucking rematch clause unless he won. I don't even think he did. And that just shows you, speaking of Dillian White, on how less they did not respect Dillian White, you know, versus what they're offering Anthony Joshua. And they're trying to turn it into a situation where, well, I don't see how he's able to make decisions or anything. He's coming off 2 losses. The fact of the matter is, people, they need Joshua because they know Joshua is the biggest thing since sliced bread. That's the biggest fight that they can make besides Usyk if that fight's not bigger than Usyk. Counterpunch. So at the end of the day, you hear Frank Warren say, hey, they have by today. I think they're uncertain and it would be easier to fight someone like Joe Blow. Okay, that's ultimately what it is. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.